Hello and welcome to episode 189 of the Talking Wednesday podcast. It's Dex and Punk for you this week to talk you through everything Sheffield Wednesday, and there is a couple of games. And you know what? I'm feeling a little bit more positive about the football than I have been the past couple of weeks. It seems like the luck might be turning, but before all of that, Punk, how has your week been, my friend?
Tiring. This week has really hit my energy levels, and I've hit, you know, when you hit that point where you think go back to normal because my lass had gone back to work. Yeah, maternity leave is done. She's done now. She's back at work. So I'm in charge of Hunter. So this is where it all goes downhill, by the way, if anyone's asking. But I forgot how...
I've just realised you've called your son a name that sounds very aggressive in a Yorkshire accent.
Oh, it really does, doesn't it?
Yeah. Hunter. It's like he's gonna scrap with you before he's even like two.
He already scrapped with me, not one.
Yeah.
Like, it's only just hit me how full on A you can be, and B, just how much energy it takes out of you just having to battle it and then doing the school run and doing everything else like that. It's like, I think I'm okay for next week podcast, but the podcast after that, I can't do. I've got surgery on the Friday.
So Jake, you're having surgery.
Yes, I am.
Nothing too major. So, but
Nope.
yeah, so that's what you've got coming up and things.
Yeah, so that's going to be fun. But the thing is, I was trying to get my brain like into, right, I'm going to have to do this, and this. And then you forget that it's been, 7 years nearly since I've had a kid at this age.
Yeah.
So, and they're not the same. Like, generally, they are not the same. My oldest would nap. This little sod, it got fear of missing out at 9 months. He do not want to nap at all. And it's doing me head in. Because I have that like small little window of opportunity. I think he has about 30 minutes and that's about it.
Were you still chefing when your first little one was born?
No.
You'd stop. You'd stop by them.
Yeah, I stopped by then. Like, I've not been in a pro kitchen in 10 plus years now.
Okay, fair.
I think
for the best. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
You and sharp objects, not ideal.
What's on the menu tonight? Deep fried Jake.
Yeah.
I don't think people want that. But I think for me, one of the situations is just getting your brain into that way of thinking and realizing they're not the same. And it's taken me by surprise. And when I've had like the little downtime to go do stuff, I've fallen asleep like 4 times in that chair this week to come down and make videos of like prepare myself. And I've just been knackered.
Yeah, I must say them chairs don't stay comfy for very long.
No, they don't.
Just because I'm a big fat guy, but it's a case of like I've got an office chair up here now, as you can probably tell, because I've moved that downstairs because it's quite nice as a sort of recliner, but it is, you can tell they weren't that cheap, to be fair, but like they were on the cheaper side, and you can tell after a while.
They're cheap without being cheap, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
After a while, you have to like reposition yourself to get the actual chair comfy again, which I've noticed. How's your week been, mate?
Very busy. I know that's the traditional thing, but yeah, it's been really quite full on in areas this week, but a lot of productivity happening amongst that. Obviously, a lot of the career stuff that I'm still doing with the EAFC stuff. Not great in some areas, but it's one of those things where trying to look beyond all of that and just get things, basically have a vision for the next few months, because Christmas is coming up and the likes of that.
Don't remind me of that word.
Yeah, because your little one's birthday's around then as well, isn't it? So
both my little one's birthdays in the same week.
Oh my God, has it nearly been a year?
Yeah.
Of course it has. That's crazy.
He's 11. No, he's not. He's 10 months this month. It's flown by, mate. It's absolutely.
He's got a massive head now as well, hasn't he?
He's huge.
Yeah, I'm not. Like, I can say that because I'm your friend. It's like when people say, but I'm like, your son has a huge
head. He has a massive head. The other day we took a photograph of him, and the shadow on the floor made him look like Megamind.
It's all right. We can. He won't. He might never watch these, and if he does watch them when he's older, he'll realise we've followed him years in.
We had the health visitor round. I have an issue, James.
Go on.
My son's set to be 6'1", 6'2".
Oh yeah, he's taller than he'll be taller than I'll be taller than him though. So if he starts giving you grief, send me round and I'll probably yeah. But yeah,
apparently.
Not, to be honest, I thought you'd be shorter in person, but you are.
5'8".
You aren't that tall. We'll say that. But I imagined you even smaller for some reason before I first met you.
I'm 5'8" on a good day, and on a really good day, I'm 6'2" with the mohawk.
Jack's deceptively tall.
He is really tall. When we first met him, I was like, "You're really bigger than I first thought in height."
Yeah,
it's a weird one.
For a second, I thought he was taller than me, and then I got closer, and I was like, "Okay, no, I've still got the tall man podcast thing."
You and Jack are about the same height. Ish.
Yeah, I think we did the stand by side thing, and there's I don't. Do you know, immediately I know he'd make it filthy if I said there was about an inch in it, but there was.
The problem you got is when we all first got together, and this room looked big when you walk in, but you get 3 people, it suddenly goes small quickly.
Especially Jack, because he sits in like a power stance.
Yeah,
he'll just sit there, spread legs, not in the way you're thinking, but I'm just like, come on. It's a little bit demure. Okay, let's not be having that. But yeah, should we get into the football, Jake, before we go off on a massive tangent? We had Bristol City in midweek. You were streaming this one.
I did.
I couldn't get my stream to work properly for it, so I kind of gave up on it. So you're going to have to talk us through this.
The Guy Sports app is just not.
I do miss iFollow already, and I can't. And that wasn't great.
Oh my god! I can't believe you just said you miss iFollow. I'm glad.
I know, but it worked for me. I tended to be all right. It tended to work.
No. I miss Wednesday Player. That worked. It was the thing before iPlayer.
You know, I do remember. Yes, I remember Wednesday Player, Jay, but I also remember it wasn't fantastic either at certain points.
You could go back and watch something if the replay didn't work.
No, that was quite good. Yeah,
the
on-demand stuff was very useful.
This game was interesting because I had a funny feeling going into this. We might be okay. And it was one of the games where first half, we were rubbish. We really were rubbish. They were all over us, and they should have probably been about 1 or 2 up in that game early doors, and we had to battle really hard just to stay in it at half time. And the thing is, what's annoying me, and it's something I'm glad Danny spoke about in the press conference on Friday, is people were giving Ugbo so much rubbish about where he was standing and positioning wise. But if you actually look at it, no one closer to him. So when a ball coming to him, he's holding it up or trying to flick it on. There's no one there. And so a defender is just standing in between, go, I'll have that. That's why we lost the ball so much. And it's why...
It's become very obvious this week. If you actually look at like the Twitter underneath like certain things, you're like, nobody's watching us play. They're just commenting without watching us play. Because we're isolating Ugbo. We've said recently he should probably be dropped if we're going to keep playing this way. But it's not Ugbo's fault. He's not been having the service at all.
No. And the thing is, you actually look at where most of the goal came from last year. They were all poachers in the box. So it was balls into the box, being able to get on the end of it. And you just keep thinking, something got to give where that does work, or you change it up a little bit. What I have liked about Danny since the international break, it's not been a full-on change. It's been subtle changes to the tactics because we mixed it up now. We don't play it as long as short as we did at the back. We mixed it up between long balls and short balls. But the thing is, I am really starting to see that our best centre-back pairing is Bernard and Akin. Because they work well. They understand what's going on. Like,
yeah, I think we finally hit it.
It's nice to see that that's working. And the other thing is that what other people are actually missing as well. In this game, it showed that we had defined left back and right back. We actually have the player to do it. It's nice to see Akin playing in his natural position, not having to try and play a position you don't know.
Yeah.
The thing
absolutely.
Is,
I mean, I must say, it felt a bit like a bombardment at times in certain areas against Bristol City. It felt like we'd gotten away with one in certain areas, but again, I feel like it was
changed. We were a different team. You bring on Kabaki, who was absolutely amazing. Played so well. I think he's the one that's really starting, for me, it can be the one that gets Masaba dropped and struggled to get in the squad. Annoyingly, Kabaki and Palmer picked up calf injury by the looks of it. I think one might have been a hamstring. I think that was Kabaki's. But the thing is, Masaba in that game had a cross. He did all the right thing by getting past his man. Everything right. And he took the cross and it was It was into the crowd. He just didn't even look up to take it. He just hit and hoped it. And the thing is, Kabachi doesn't have that. He'll cut inside, he'll try and get a ball in. I think we picked up quite a gem here who's going to go on and do well. Like, second half, we did try and make chances, but they weren't enough. You actually look at the stats, it was 7 shots that we had to their 10, but they only had 2 on target. We have 1 on target. And we had to really fight hard. And the thing is, though, we had a lot of corners again and didn't do much with them once again. And that's annoying. I'm hoping during this international break, we can do a lot more with them and learn. We are getting better. We look better and defensively solid on them. It's just the other end of it going in for offensive corners, if that makes sense.
Yeah, well, I think the big thing about this mentally was a case of we've not been in great form, especially when you look away from home. And that fixture was the result that you go, oh, actually, we can do something on the road. Because this season, that's the first time we've actually, if I'm right in saying, I think it's the first time we've picked up a point on the road. Yeah. So
it needed to bridge the gap, if that makes sense. We needed something. And the other thing is, first clean sheet since Plymouth.
And that's testament to, sticking it out for that. Let's move on to the Coventry game then, because this was a very interesting game to say the least. Talk us through this one, Jake.
Well, it was one of those games where we played really well for the first 10 minutes and then they got into it and we had to weather the storm a little bit with them, but we were making good chances. Ingleson going down the left-hand side was something I wasn't expecting. I think Ingleson, Jamalo and Gassama, those 3 worked really well. I think our big thing at the minute, though, it feels like we got 2 absolutely Royal Roy midfielders in the middle in Barry Bannon and Shea Charles. Because Shea Charles just does the mopping up. It's the little things you watch Charles do that no one picks up on, where it's just like a little touch, or he's gone past 2 players, but you don't realise he's gone past them. And the annoying thing is, we go 1-0 down, and if somebody just makes a tackle, we just stand off him. And this is a player we know a lot about from his time at Huddersfield. He did this a lot. I remember when he played against us before, he would run at you and take a chance. And it wasn't even a good goal. Because the thing for me is Beadle went down in stages, and the problem is that at that end of the pitch, it's covered in sunlight. So it makes me wonder if he was a bit offside. But still, if a player going at you, you got to put a tackle in at least. And it just annoyed me because we did so well. We were the better team. But then... Yes,
we were. And then the swing sort of... The balance started to swing a little bit, didn't it?
Yeah, and the head didn't go down and we kept on making chances. I think this has been Gassama's best game he's had in a Wednesday this year. I've been
feeling like he needs a run of games. And I've been saying that. I don't know if I've been saying it on the pod or off the pod, but I feel like I've definitely said this. Gassama is the most technical player we have got other than potentially Barry Bannon. But Barry Bannon's a different kind of player, right? So him being on the ball was fantastic. And that goal, Jake, like that was a proper just hit it and knows exactly what he's doing. It's also his attitude, right? Because when I watched that revealing the EAFC cards, he saw one of his stats and he might have been tongue-in-cheek, but he said, oh, if it's that, I must practice sort of thing.
Yeah.
And it was like that sort of like humble sort of,
it says
push himself on.
And I think you have to remember he's only a young kid as well, which is ideal for us because it means he's only going to get better. But you go in at half time with 1-1, you're thinking, that's more like it, we can go for it. Because Jamal Lowe had a couple of good chances today and just couldn't really bury them. You could tell he's not played much first-team football as late. I think a Jamal Lowe with a bit more confidence does really well with that. Second half comes about and we are playing good football, but then as a game, it goes really stretched and it goes really, if you're neutral at this game, you would have loved it today. Like 100%.
Yes, it was end to end.
It's a good advert for the championship, I would say, where each team are going for it. Beadle made some really good saves today. He was top class. The only thing I only have one complaint with Beadle, and it's a general complaint of general modern day keeping. I hate watching keeper palm it out. It's my biggest bugbearer because the defense have got to be on it, knowing that ball coming to them. Luckily today, they really were on it because he palmed it out. Someone got rid of it, palmed it out. There was a period where he had to make 2 double saves and they were fantastic. They were really good. And we managed to hold up a lot of the corners they had. I think just before in the second half, like early doors, they had 3 corners back to back. And you were like...
There was a lot of pressure on from it. Also, by the way, we did have a corner that ended up going through, but the ref... I think it was like...
It was a foul by Valentine on the keeper.
That's what they ended up giving there. Coventry fans obviously were giving a lot of stick to the ref in the second half. I thought he wasn't great for us. I thought he wasn't great for us in the first half, but then in the second half, he wasn't great for them. So I felt like it balanced out. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I thought the Shea Child tackle, I thought Coventry was like, oh, it's a red. It's not. He just missed times it. And
it could be a red. It could be considered a red, Jake. I would say that. But also, it's a case of who got a whack in the first half. Somebody got a whack. It was like an elbow or something.
Gassama. No, not Gassama. Ingleson. Ingleson.
Oh, right, okay. Well, what? No, I think it was Gassama, actually, because it was a tactical foul to stop Gassama breaking, if I recall rightly. It was literally just like a wipeout arm, which I must say, in the Prem, that's possibly given as a red.
Yeah.
So it's one of them where you really sort of going, okay, well, there was decisions for both sides.
There were a couple of shouts of penalty
Then there's a lot of people calling for offside for the goal that we score in the 93rd minute. What are your thoughts?
I've seen it back because I thought it was off. But now
your tweet originally, you said it looked offside from first watch.
But I've seen it back. It's on. He's on.
It looks just in line when you watch it back, doesn't it? If you watch, it's weird because if you watch it in real time, because I've watched the replays as well, if you watch it in real time from behind the goal, it looks offside.
Yeah.
But if you watch it from where the ref was, the angle that the linesman was using, he is in line when the ball is played. But it's so fast. So
you know what I liked about that goal? That all came from a Coventry attack.
Yes.
And we went on the break. I have not seen us go on the break like that in a long time, where we've gone soak up attack, and just go. And
Shea Charles just plays with such experience for a player of his age, doesn't he? Like, he's so mature.
He plays like he's 26, 27. He's been in the game for years.
Yeah, he's fantastic.
He really does. And people need to give Masaba credit for that ball as well, because it was really well played to knock it, because he'd had some critics recently. I also liked when that goal goes in and they're just like putting pressure on. Danny Rule did the most football manager champion ultimate team thing ever and went, hey, Pato, you coming on for a minute?
Yeah, and he took Masaba off who'd been subbed on.
Yeah.
Which is quite funny. But yeah, I thought the way Danny ran as well at the end, you could just see how much
you could
it
sell
meant.
the pressure. The pressure was off his. The thing is, that's the first game I've seen of play where we did sit back a lot in the second half, and you could tell Danny was fuming. He kept on going, come on. We have got this issue in this squad at the minute, and it'll come where we go back into old pattern where we sit back and soak up a bit of pressure where Danny wants us to go on the attack. But the way Danny ran on that pitch at the end, you would have thought we got promoted. Because
exactly. And do you know what, Jake? I just remember us saying, like, with the terrible luck we had against QPR and Luton and the likes, I was like, look at the next few fixtures. Where are you going to get the points from? These aren't easy fixtures. And those next 3 fixtures have been 2 wins and a draw.
We got 7 points.
Yeah.
Which is
seven points from 3 games.
And it shows you that I said to you about 2 weeks ago, we're going to go into that position where we got momentum and then there's going to be another break in the middle.
I'll take it though.
They need it.
Because it's just a time for us to keep improving now. I don't know what to do with the episode next week. I don't know whether to have the main episode as the draft update because we've got the steals coming in and the swaps. So it depends on how much news breaks, but just watch this space. Next week's episode might end up being a little bit of news, but then we might, rather than doing an extra on the draft update, we'll do an episode.
Also, the next couple of weeks, be very wary what happened with Josh Windass.
So Josh Windass obviously wasn't in the squad.
So basically, I believe it's their due date today. Okay. And I think that's why they've gone, look, it might happen. Don't even bother. He might have even requested that day off just to say, hey, this is when we're due. The thing is, if you look when Pato had his kid and any player who's had a kid, they get a little bit more time off, which they should. Yeah,
that is the crazy thing about football, right?
I hate the whole thing in football. It's like, you're not allowed to have time. No. Yes, you are.
Yeah, you are. Like, if your child's been born, like, I don't care how much money I'm being paid. There is nothing stopping me from being around when my child is getting born, coming into this world, being born, not getting born. Words, James. But yeah, it's exactly. That is probably the likelihood, considering they said personal reasons as well.
Yeah, and it wouldn't surprise me if Josh gets either a couple of weeks off after the international break as well, which is ideal though, because that means Pato can come in. Also,
I don't think he will. I think because there's 2 weeks for the international break, I think that's what he'll get. Sorry, carry on.
Pato dyed his hair, and Liam Palmer did it in the training ground.
I didn't know Liam Palmer had done it.
Oh yeah, because Valentine videoed it and put it on Instagram Reels.
Oh right, okay.
And it was like, oh, Grandad getting his hair dyed.
That's really funny. But let's go into the stats of the Coventry game then. So we've got a win with less possession, 40% possession to their 60. The shots, I need to stop with these lights with my contact lenses. Read us through the stats there, Jake, because it's very small on my screen.
13 shots each, 2 shots on target for them, 5 for us, 7 shots off, 3 for us, 5 block shot, 4 for them. We also just missed something in this game. Akin Femero and Sante getting into a bit of a brawl near the end, and Femero got his shirt ripped off him.
Yeah, that was a bit, because like the ref wasn't actually originally going to give the foul, and it's like, well, do you want to see his shirt? It's in the box. So I think there's been a foul there, mate.
And the thing is, what I love about it is Beadle pulling Asante away and Femero just going close and go, come on then. It's like, you see Barry Bannon just turn around and go, It was very, very clear from Bannon to go.
Soph said something today. She said, "Do you think Barry Bannon's not very good at taking corners because he can't see over the corner flag?" And I was like, I was like, that's brilliant.
That's awesome.
Barry, she's not mocking, genuinely. It's just because she now finds it funny that there was a commentator a while ago that kept saying, "Oh, Barry Bannon, the smallest man on the pitch." So it's all the small jokes now.
Yeah.
But I found that particularly quite funny.
But yeah, sorry, we'll go back into the...
please do.
That's Beadle didn't have much to do, actually. He only made one save, which is wrong. He made more than that. We did well on the aerial duels, 17 out of 12, and 6 corners each.
Yeah. And again, those set pieces, it'll be interesting to see how we work on them over the break, which we've got coming up now. The international break's come around really quick, hasn't it?
It has.
This time. So the championship review, the results are as follows. So there was midweek games that we're going to include in this. Preston 3, Watford 0, Bristol City 0, Sheffield Wednesday 0, Burnley 1, Plymouth 0, Cardiff 1, Millwall 0, Coventry 3, Blackburn Rovers 0. So Coventry came off a 3-0 win, by the way, before this. QPR 1, Hull City 3, Norwich 1, Leeds 1, Sunderland 2, Derby County 0, Luton Town 2, Oxford United 2, West Brom 0, Middlesbrough 1, Stoke City 6,
4-0 at half time.
1. Yeah.
Cannon hat-trick.
Yep, we really should have gone for Cannon. Sheffield United 1, Swansea 0. So they were the midweek games. Going into the weekend, it was Sunderland 2, Leeds United 2, Norwich City 4, Hull City 0, Burnley 0, Preston 0,
They should have won
1.
that, though, Preston, I think, because they referee offside goal kind of thing.
Oh, right, okay. Portsmouth 1, Oxford United 1. Oxford United have done so well.
They've done really well.
Like, I know Portsmouth, they probably should have got the win there, but Oxford, just like looking at what they're doing, they've really, really settled to this level. Swansea 0, Stoke City 0, Watford 2, Middlesbrough 1, Sheffield United 2, Luton Town 0. Luton are in trouble. They're really in trouble.
Why I'm so annoyed with that game.
Yeah. We should have won that. We should have done.
Yep.
Derby County 2, QPR 0. QPR starting strong as well, but then they're looking a bit shaky now.
Yeah.
Plymouth 2, Blackburn Rovers 1.
The Plymouth game was a 97-minute winner for Plymouth.
Yeah, Rooney got sent off as well, apparently. He got sent to the stands. Yeah. West Brom 0, Millwall 0, Coventry 1, Sheffield Wednesday 2, and the kickoff that you're probably going to watch the same day this podcast comes out is Bristol City, Cardiff City.
It's a derby.
You what, sorry?
Because it's a derby.
So yeah, the Leeds one. Yeah, I did see it actually, Jake. I watched it last night. So
yeah. Ups is the only word I use.
It was bad, wasn't it?
Well, I was watching the EFL show highlights. I think it was last week, and a player popped up with a bad bit of goalkeeping. And do you know who it was?
Bailey Peacock Farrell.
Yeah,
as well. But yeah.
And it's just like you look at it and you do think about how many times we've had that, like something like that happen. And it got me thinking, right? We need to sort out a permanent goalkeeper.
Yes, we do. And I can't, that's why I'm kind of annoyed. Like, send Pierce Charles out for 6 months. I know his brother's here, but send him out for 6 months in January. Because Hamer's coming back to fitness, send Pierce Charles out, let him get some game time. Because he's coming to an age now where it's like, let's try it. If we can get him close, get him some... He's been making a few too many sort of mistakes for me at the minute, but they'll be ironed out if we can get him some game time, you know? At the minute, he's 19. Is Beadle 22, if I'm right?
No, Beadle's 20.
He's 20. Yeah, so, like, age-wise, he's 20. They're a year apart.
Yeah.
And when Beadle came to us last year, he was obviously 19, the age Pierce Charles is now. I think it could be the time, and I know you don't want to throw you don't want to throw it at it. But if you think about it, Piers Charles has played with his feet since he was young. He's that keeper.
Yeah.
I think we've got it right here, Jake, if we actually, but for me, he needs to go and get some game time. Send him to a club that plays out in League One for 6 months and get him back and train as our number one next year.
We just sent Hall out on loan to Bradford Park Avenue. Wow, that's a
I saw that.
Club.
Yeah.
That's a non-league club if I've ever heard of one. But the thing is, I generally think the only reason we didn't send him out on loan is because we didn't know what was going on with Hamer.
Yes.
And I think the plan was, by all accounts, it seems like the plan was he was going to go out on loan and then suddenly that injury on Ben happened and it kiboshed it. At one point,
the plan
looking at going
for January is going to be Beadle, Hamer on the bench, Hall will be back and Hall will be our academy keeper and our number 3 just in case.
Yeah.
I think, and then Charles will go out and that's what should happen because that way, when Beadle goes back next year, Piers Charles can have a crack at being our number 1.
I did like the celebration between Charles and Charles, though. Just both. It really weird as well in the celebration. You could see Shane Charles was pushing people away to find his brother. It was like really odd. Like, no, go away. They found him. Went, yeah.
No, it's nice that. Let's get into the table then. So we've just done the championship review. Rock bottom are Cardiff City with 4 points. Just above them are Portsmouth with 5 points. QPR are just above them with 7 points. And then just above that is Luton Town, just avoiding relegation now with 8 points. Level on points, though, are Coventry City, who we've just played. So, beating the teams we should be beating if we're down there. Looking up at the top of the table, you've got Sunderland at the top with 19 points. Joint with them now are Sheffield United after a recent decent run of form. Yep. Burnley are in third with 18. West Brom fourth with 17. It is, yeah, it is. Leeds fifth with 16. Watford 6th with 16 also, and then Norwich just outside with 15, joint with Blackburn Rovers, who have had a couple of bad results recently, so they might start to slip. Sheffield Wednesday, however, have gone to 15th on 11 points. So technically, we're only 5 points off the playoffs, but I will. If we finish 15th this season, I'll take it because I just want us to rebuild
now, which is good.
Yes, so we've drawn that, we've clawed some of the goal difference back to -4. There is only a couple of teams there is quite a few. Actually, yeah, I think we're like the 6th worst, 7th worst goal difference now, and I think if we can work on improving that, that's not too bad. I mean, if you think about it, we're a point off. We are literally a point off 10th.
Yeah.
So
I think that's not bad. What's going to be the interesting thing is once this international break's done, this is our last break internationally till I think March, I want to say.
Yes.
Time. So we are going to hit the period where it's Saturday, Tuesday. The intensity where they're going to have a chance to train and recover is going to lower.
The business needs to be done in January as well, though. We need to bring in a striker. We need to bring in a centre. I don't know if we need to bring in a centre back. Probably as cover, but like if Famio and Bernard keep this up, we've got a pairing. But the problem we do need to strengthen.
The thing is, do we need to bring in a striker or do we need to bring in an attacking creative midfielder? Because if you bring in one of those...
Ingleson.
Yeah, but the thing is, we don't have, like, one of the things that was crucial. Also, I'm going to mention this. Pervader came on midweek, went off again on the 83rd minute.
Yeah.
It's a very dangerous precedent to do this, but Jack was right. I hate to say it, mate. Jack was right.
Oh, wash your mouth out.
And you're only saying that because you're like going, he was.
He was, yeah.
Yeah.
Broken clock and all that.
We were both on the whole thing of saying, now let's keep him, see what happens. He's out for months now after only just coming back. I spoke to a Sunderland fan. It's like, we've given him a 4-year deal. What are we doing? The thing is, what Ugbo thrived on last season when Pervader were playing with those jinking little runs and the balls into the box, like I said earlier, as a poacher. We got that a little bit with Kasama. We've got that a little bit with Masaba. But we need to see more of it. That's why I say, do we need to have another style of player like that? But
I think Bannon's playing higher, mate. You know, in terms of when you're talking about a creative midfielder, you're talking about Kabachi as well that you've got for you. I think we've got enough wide options. Gassama, Masaba, Kabachi, Lowe can play there.
Yeah.
I think because Shea Charles, I think the big thing is going to be obviously there's the slight worry that Shea Charles goes in January because what he's currently doing is allowing Bannon to play higher. So if we lose Shea Charles, we need a defensive, we need a holding midfielder basically that can do that job because you unlock Bannon's creativity if he's not having to play as deep. So that's where I think you get around that. But for me, it is a case of another option. We've got the tall option in Smith. We've got the poacher in Ugbo. Do we go for the striker that's young and has just got blistering pace?
Well,
do we go for that option?
Do we have that already, but we're using him in the under-21s and getting him up to speed? McNeil.
I don't know. I've not really seen his paciness, but he is around, isn't he? Yeah, there is that.
Yeah, but they're playing him a lot in the under-21s at the minute. I think he was always one of the players who got brought in one for looking in the future, and if we don't snap him up now, someone else will. Yeah,
no, it was definitely a good move there. I think we'll keep building with him, but yeah, I feel like that's going to be the situation that we're in. We probably need another centre back for cover.
Yeah.
I think you could potentially see a wet way out and then us bring in somebody else. I don't know. If to be honest, at the minute, Famio stay fit. Right now, Bernard stay
I think
fit.
everything works.
Yeah.
But
the problem we have with Bernard, though, is he's away every international break, which is...
We can't do any work with him.
Yeah. So I bet it happens again.
Oh, he's been picked. Yeah, he's going away this week.
No, but I bet it happens again that he'll come back. And when we play Burnley, I don't think he'll start.
No. So you'll have
to wait for him to get, reintroduced with it.
This is where I'm kind of happy that Jamal Lowe didn't get picked. Because with Kabachi being out, there's no guarantee he's going to be back ready for Burnley.
How long's Kabachi out for?
We don't. The thing is, they originally... both injuries were looking like weeks, but the scans have come back being like it was a case of where it was put it this way, in the press conference, Danny said it was a case of, do I risk them or not this weekend? That's what the wording was, which said to me it's not that bad.
Mm-hmm.
Kabachi, I think if we can get him playing regular, I actually think you have Masaba as your impact player off the bench, and you have it as Kabachi, Gassama as your two stars. And then
Gassama's the definite starter for me. You start Gassama.
You use Masaba and Ingleson as your players where you do the rotation week to week.
I think if Masaba keeps passing, he deserves a space because he got an assist today. He started to look up a little bit more and not be as nomadic.
Yeah.
Let's say it that way. Which I think will be just only a benefit to him. But yeah, we're not really going to do the news today because there's not a load of it. But Ben Hamer is obviously back. So what do you think that means for us on the goalkeeping situation of Hull? We talked a little bit about it earlier.
I think you'll probably see Charles go back to the under-21s. And I think he'll be on the bench. I think there was a part of me at one point was saying with how we weren't keeping clean sheets was, does he have a look at it and change it up a little bit? But for me, I don't think Beadle done anything wrong to get dropped. I can't think it would be really harsh. Hamer and Charles, if you actually think about it, I think Charles.
Beadle wouldn't be dropped at all. Like
no,
there's nothing saying that Hamer's a better goalkeeper than Charles. I think Beadle was brought in to be the number one, and Hamer was the option.
Backup.
But I think he'll start against Brentford in October.
I think he will, which is probably a good thing. No,
yeah,
I'd rather have him start than Charles. The thing is, again, what we got is you look at this international break, work that can be done with both keepers ain't going to happen. They're all away, apart from Hamer.
Yeah.
Like,
that's very true.
Charles is with, is it Northern Ireland? Please tell me I got it right.
Yes.
Yeah. And then you've got beat up with the under-21 for England. So they're away. You've got Shea Charles, who's away. You've got Deshaun, who's away. This is really good to happen because it shows that we are getting better in the worldwide of football if you're getting players going international duty. It's a credit to what you're doing as a club. If their national clubs, their international managers are going, yeah, we want to take them on for these qualifiers and stuff, which is great.
I have just thought why we might need to bring in more cover as well, though, because with internationals comes injuries.
Yeah, that's the other thing. Yeah, I did think of that.
Like, so that's where you probably need your centre back. If Lowe does get called up, that's probably where you need your attacking player. You've got a situation where what if Beadle gets? Obviously, you touch wood on all of this, but like, there's situations where these players can end up out from an international game that's not involving Wednesday. So we have to look. That's just football, obviously, but we've got to look around that as well when it comes to cover. Yeah. But yeah, hopefully we've got Pato involved. He'll be playing a role, I assume.
The thing is, when it comes to January, we need to make some decisions on some players who have got contracts that are only a year.
Do we try and get a few $100K for him or let him go?
Yeah, because I don't want us to be in the situation come January where we're looking at players and going, hey, these players have not got deals, and then we get to the end of the season where we could have got a couple of 100,000 for him. Like one of the things that Danny said, he wants to see us get contract put in front of people early doors as soon as possible. And that needs to happen again. Like if you're looking at who's out of contract in the summer, it is Barry Bannon, Michael Smith, Liam Palmer, Callum Patterson, Marvin Johnson, Paul Valentine, Akin Ferrero, Anthony Masaba, Pierce Charles. You want Charles, Masaba, Akin, and Paul on new deals automatically.
That tell you what, leave it there. That's our episode for next week.
Yeah.
When we come back after the international break, it's Burnley, which we will talk about on next week's episode as we've got stuff to go into there. It's probably a little bit shorter of an episode today, but how are you feeling, Jake, going into the international break?
If you would have given us, it was 7 points on the last 3 games we just had, I would have snapped your hands off and gone, that progress, we're moving in the right direction. And take the positives. Take the positives. I know there's going to be a lot of people who see we're not scoring enough. We're making chances, but we're not doing this. We got 7 points. Again, 2 out of West Brom, who were top of the league, and Coventry, who are bogey side.
We've never done well against Coventry.
No,
so
we've never done.
Having us do that is definitely off, breaking the chain there. But yes, guys, that is it for this week's episode of Taking Wednesday. Talking Wednesday. I think I've got some kind of chicken burger awaiting me, so that's going to be quite nice. We've moved northeast, and it's always like we're adopted the Parmo culture, I think. But
yeah, you have.
Anything to add before we end today, my friend?
Just enjoy the international break for what it is, and if you get a chance, go support your local non-league team because they need all your support.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's always a good shout. Okay, guys, take care, and we will see you in the next episode of Talking Wednesday.
See ya.